An instruction for the unveiling. Apocalypse chapter 18. Double judgment for Babylon on the accounts of fornication, idolatry, murder, and pharmakia. After these things, I saw another angel who had great power and authority descending down from the heavens. And the earth became illuminated from his light and majesty. And he shouted with his powerful voice, saying, "Fallen, fallen is the great Babylon, for she has become the dwelling place of demons and heathen deities, and a holding cell for every species of unclean spirit, and a cage for every species of unclean bird, and a ward for every mixed breed of wild beast, chimera, and she is utterly despised and detested. For all the nations, and the merchant traders, and the journeymen, and the rulers of the earth have drunk of the grape wine of Yahweh's passionate anger on account of her fornication and whoredom, and because they have committed sexual immorality with her, succumbing to her great deceptive and seductive powers, in order to become bountiful in her riches and to take part in her excessive luxurious lifestyle. Then I heard another voice coming from out of the heavens, saying, "Come out, my people, out of her, the woman Babylon, so that you will not be identified as an accomplice in her guilt and take part in her blows and afflictions and plagues, in order that you will not receive them or be overtaken by them. For her guilt and her wicked actions and inner desires, her faults and offenses are heaped together, piling up as high as the heavens. And Yahweh has remembered all her crimes. And he is intending to pay her back according to her yields. And he will pay her back twice as much as her wicked actions and desires. And he will pour out twice as much from his cup of his passionate anger upon her. For the amount that she has esteemed herself as glorious, and the amount of lustful self-indulgence that she has reveled in, he will return it back to her in torture, and in sorrow, and mourning, because within her inner self, her character, and at the very center of her being, she says to herself, "I sit enthroned as a queen, and I will never be a widow, and I will never experience grief or sorrow." Because of this, great blows and afflictions will come upon her, and physical and spiritual death will come, and mourning and sorrow will come, and starvation from scarcity of food will come, all within one day, and she will be burned up, consumed entirely with fire, because the Adonai, El Shaddai, Yahweh, is the one who has sentenced her, and with his deciding judgment. And the kings of the earth, the ones who have committed fornication and practiced idolatry with her, and who have lived in lustful self-indulgence along with her, will weep aloud, expressing their audible grief, and they will mourn for her when they see the smoke rising as she burns. And they will stand from a long distance away as they watch because of their panic and terror over her torment, saying, "Woe, woe, the great city Babylon, the powerful and strong city! For in just 1 hour in time your sentencing has come down upon you." And the passengers aboard the ships, the merchants, and the journeymen of the world will weep aloud and mourn over her, because their goods and their cargo will no longer be purchased by her. No longer will she purchase their cargo, or goods made of gold, or of silver, or their expensive stones, or their pearls. No longer will she purchase their fine linens and their silks of purple and scarlet. Nor will she purchase citron wood, or all of their goods made of ivory, or all of their most expensive goods made from wood, or bronze, or iron, or marble. No longer will she purchase cinnamon, or amomos, a fragrant plant from India, or incense, or myrrh, or frankincense, or wine, or olive oil, or their finest flour and their wheat. Nor will she any longer purchase their cattle or sheep, or their horses, or their chariots. Nor will she any longer purchase slaves or human souls. And all her late summer and autumn fruits, that the hearts of mankind have an eagerness for, have been removed from her, along with all of her oil and fat and her magnificent things. They have all left her, and they will no longer be found in her. The merchants and vendors who sell all these things, who became wealthy because of her, they will stand from a far distance from her watching, because they have fear of taking part in her torment, and they will weep aloud over her and mourn over her. And they will say, "Woe, woe, the great city! She was dressed in our fine linens of purple and scarlet, and she was ornamented with our gold and our expensive stones and our pearls. And in just 1 hour in time she has been destroyed, and made a desolate wasteland, and she has been robbed of her great wealth. And every captain, and voyager, and sailor, and every merchant trader of the sea will all stand from afar off watching, and will cry out loud, shrieking in despair, when they see the smoke rising up from her burning, and they will say, 'What other city is like the great city Babylon?' And they will throw dust and dirt on their heads, and they will cry and shriek, weeping out loud and mourning, saying, 'Woe, woe, the great city by which all who have ships in the sea have become rich by her abundance of wealth. For in just 1 hour of time she has become a desolate wasteland and has been destroyed.' Cheer and make merry over her, O heavens, and you set-apart saints, and you chosen apostles of Yeshua, and you prophets, because Yahweh has judged her and made his sentencing against her on your account." Then a very strong and powerful angel lifted up a great boulder, like a huge millstone, and threw it into the waters. And he said, "And just like this, the great city of Babylon has been violently thrown down, and she will be found no longer. No longer will the sound of harpists or musicians or flute players or trumpeters ever be heard from her again, and her architects and artisans of all her skills and trades will never be found in her again, or the sound of any millstone, production of factories, be heard in her ever again. And the source of light from her lamps will never shine again, and the cheerful voices of a bride and a bridegroom will never be heard in her again. Because her traders and vendors, who were the chief men and the noblemen of the earth, they received their position of wealth by means of her pharmakeia. This is the Greek word, which is very eye-opening, meaning the use of medicine, drugs, spells, sorcery, and black magic, by which she has led astray and deceived all the nations of the earth. And within her has been discovered the shed blood of Yahweh's prophets, and of his set-apart saints, and the shed blood of all who have been slaughtered on the earth."